Welcome to California in Focus. I'm your host, Keegan Kernodle. Joining me today is the Center Square's LA-based reporter, Kenneth Schupp. Today we are talking about Trump defunding California's sex ed program over gender ideology. Kenneth, can you tell us more about this?
Hey, Keegan. So let's be clear. This program called PrEP, not to be confused with the HIV prevention drug, is not this general sex ed class that you get in K through 12. It is limited to certain high-risk youth in certain populations. So those prioritized for this program are those who reside, attend school, or receive reproductive health services in a, quote, high-need geographic area, are homeless, in foster care, and the juvenile justice program identifies LGBTQ, receive mental health or substance abuse treatment, etc., live in migrant farm worker families, large variety of higher risk youth populations that receive this education program that's supposed to reduce the risk of unintended pregnancy and the transmission of sexually transmitted diseases. And our coverage has noted the parts of the curriculum that the Trump administration did oppose. This program doesn't receive a huge amount of money. It received just $6 million or so between 2020 and 2023. But let's just look more into some of the things that were discussed in this program. Parts of the curriculum encourage children to consider gender-related surgeries, hormone therapies, changing their names, adding or removing tissue. Or at least that is what the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families said, while noting that it would be canceling further funding for this program. So in March, I covered how the federal government asked California to submit its PrEP curriculum for review, which it received. And then the administration asked the organization to remove the gender ideology curriculum, which it did not do. Now, there are other parts of the program that have been proven to be effective, right? The program serves youth 10 through 19, and its own data says that it has succeeded in delaying sexual activity, increasing condom and contraceptive use. While it has done that, the issue that the Trump administration took was with the gender ideology curriculum, which we covered more in detail in June of this year. Speaking of the actual details, though, so, the program data said that youth condom knowledge for program participants rose from about 1/3 for females and for males. So program data shows that youth condom knowledge for program participants rose from 1/3 for males and 1/4 for females to 3/4 for males and about over 2/3 for females. So it's not clear if this was because the participants were very young and hadn't been exposed to sex before, and that as they got older, that became something more common. So it's really hard to tell whether the increase in knowledge was directly from the program or not, but still, that is an increase. When I first filed when I first filed a request to the governor's office about this story, as I said, they first became aware of HHS's request to the governor, that they learned about this through Fox News, not from the federal government itself. And they were quick to point out that this is not the K through 12 sex education curriculum. And they really tried to downplay the size of this program. They said the California Personal Responsibility Education Program, which receives barely $6 million in federal funding, provides comprehensive sexual health education to adolescents via an effective, evidence-based program model. And again, there were only 8 requests made for removals. Included in the removal requests were 2 materials for middle schoolers, 4 for high schoolers, and 2 general lessons. The letter goes into more detail about what exactly they want to remove. There was something called a Teen Talk middle school curriculum document that said if someone's sex assigned at birth does not match with their gender identity or how they feel inside, they might identify as transgender. For example, if someone is born with female body parts, hormones, and DNA, and inside they feel like a man. The high school version of this curriculum document then defines multiple forms of gender transitioning, defining social transitioning as, quote, telling others about their gender identity, changing their name, asking others to address them using a new name and or gender pronouns, and changing their gender expression to better reflect their identity. And then, that same document defines medical transitioning as, quote, altering their body by going through hormone therapy, using testosterone or estrogen, or having gender-affirming surgeries. Common surgeries include top surgery, adding or removing breast tissue, and bottom surgery, transforming the genitals. So, in California, it's worth noting that these medical transitions are covered as a benefit under the taxpayer-funded Medi-Cal, and that at least 2,084 California children received gender reassignment procedures between 2019 and 2023.
Well, thank you, Kenneth, for covering this for us. Listeners can keep up with this and more at thecentersquare.com. And thanks for joining California in Focus.